Lovely, it is the one, the only Cappy D. Alright, we are here to get some pretty amazing gaming news. Alright, Fallout 5, as announced by Todd Howard yesterday, is being fast tracked to development, meaning that Elder 6 is right around the corner. I mean, if you look on that Instagram page, you're gonna see a bunch of brand new model skins and a bunch of brand new ideas for quest lines. Hell, maybe even a couple of trailers like we got for Wolverine 2 days ago. I mean, there's no way Bethesda would botch the release of Elder 6 like they did with Starfield and Fallout 76. That would be crazy. Oh man, I'm so happy we live in an era where Fallout and Elder Scrolls are getting treated like the big property games they are. And now we can fork up all of our money like a bunch of jokes. It would be nice to say that Bethesda was acting out of the kindness of their heart, all right, with their $billions amassed. It seems like their creativity has had a bit of a stifle. So, your boy Cappy is going to be here to help. This is Fallout Lone Star, all right? My creation, my imagination, all right? And we will be fleshing it out throughout the entirety of this video, all right? I hope all of you are going to be just as impressed by this story as I found myself to be at times. And honestly, if you aren't, comment, let's engage, let's have a conversation. It does seem like Fallout will not be going anywhere, unfortunately, for the next couple of years. Todd Howard has essentially told all of us that after Elder Scrolls 6, we will not be going directly into Fallout. We'll be doing something else, meaning Fallout is going to be put in purgatory. Fallout will be in purgatory if it won't be another online service game, or maybe even something worse. You know what I mean? Us as Fallout fans, Fallout London was amazing, but most console fans could not get in hold of it. And not for nothing, some of the older Fallout mods, like a Fallout Frontier, just leave a lot to be desired. So this is going to be my own original Fallout story, finessing it into the lore. This will be taking place in the year 2282, right before the events of something very important in a Fallout show that I will not be spoiling. If you have not seen it, I will leave those events to be determined. We start off with a raider. You can either be a man or a woman. These are just two selections I have up. You could obviously also be a third selection because creativity and all that. RPGs doing this RPG thing, you will be given the opportunity to just normal RPG things, building your character, getting accustomed to the build that you're most comfortable with. The goal of this raider, is going to be getting to New Victoria, Mexico, a town that they heard was built or rebuilt, shall I say, with one of those fancy geckos. If you know, a famous part of the storyline from Fallout 2. The tutorial mission will have you start off with your first mission, or is to retrieve the first mission that we'll be treating as a tutorial mission is going to be retrieving some goods from a nearby vault, which, according to your almost ghouled boss, he's kind of in the mid stage of ghouling and not ghouling, is a bit too dangerous for some of the more unseasoned raiders. So you're getting sent out there. The ghoul boss implies that you would benefit more from buying a gunman. This is practically a slave. You'll be able to purchase them for about 3 caps. You have about 5 caps on your person, and this would be beneficial to the success of the mission. What you can do with this, though, is your first companion will be here. This will be your first companion, and you will have access, and you will have the ability to determine if this companion has freedom, if they have bodily autonomy, if you're going to control them around, if you're going to treat them like a pack mule, if you're going to send them out there to get eaten alive while you sit back in the shade. These are all things that are going to affect the relationship between you and this companion. And eventually your companion, after a couple of, missions together, just spending time, they'll engage with they'll engage in conversation and ask you like, hey, like, do I have freedom? And they will ask this whether, you treat them like a slave or you treat them like a person with freedom. And when you do this, and the choice you make here will determine if this companion is going to turn aggro or if this will remain your companion. I think that's just a really solid piece of world building there, setting up the escape to New Victoria. You will be forced to make a decision in killing either your mob boss, the kind of leader of your raider faction, the Flies, or the raider boss of the other faction, the Tankers. They're being led by a super intelligent super mutant, somebody who fled from California after the defeat from the Master in the first Fallout. He's just kind of here. Same thing with Jacobstown and Marcus. Same thing with Jacobstown and Marcus. Same thing with Jacobstown and Marcus. You can either kill one of these guys, both of them, or neither of them. Just a lot of choices you can make. Killing the super mutant, being that he is on the better, more positive, good side of the spectrum. Towards the end of the game, his faction will become practically unobtainable. Not so much for the ghoul, because the ghoul's kind of a dick. He's just kind of a bit of a chem head. But there will be a story where a ghoul, if he is the only raider boss left, who will either say like, hey, 500 caps up front, maybe I'll get a couple of my guys. I'm not going to get all of them because that would be a slaughter, but give me like 500 caps, I'll get a couple of them together, we'll try this whole, we'll try this whole camaraderie thing. But if you but if you progress past the point of where you want to, but if you progress past the point of your hypothetical escape to Mexico, you can unlock a couple of missions where you learn the history of the ghoul, and his family, and that will be a key point into getting him towards the later half of the game. Small rambling bits here, but everything about choice and narrative matters in this almost game. That isn't really a game yet. The faction that you will be running into decide on where you go. When you go to the border of Texas/Mexico after making your escape, you'll be given a choice to go left or go right. These choices matter and they will have weight. If you go right, you will encounter New Mexico, where you will see Nero's Legion. Nero, is the new proclaimed leader of the Legion after Caesar's fall, right after the hands of the courier. And he'll be very childish and a bit of a drunkard, but he'll be cutthroat. And that's the exact type of temperament that the Legion holds most high. You can either join the Legion or not. With a perception check a couple of meters out from this Legion encampment, you could find an NCR ranger. He was sent out here by Shady Sands. He assumed that this would be a cakewalk, that this kind of be the remnants of Caesar's Legion after that massive war at Hoover Dam. The Shady Sands and the NCR kind of puppets, like an NCR politician, they were really callous about the idea of sending too much resources out there. So they only send about a hit squad of about 12 to 20 rangers. They get ambushed. It was a fucking nightmare. This ranger tells you that Shady Sands would pay a pretty penny for Nero's head. After the demise of Nero from the hands of the main character, you'll be able to access Shady Sands. Once you get to Shady Sands, you can walk inside the NCR, kind of building. You can engage in some of the shops and side missions in the area inside of Shady Sands. And when you exit, you will be seeing a man with a jacket. This will only this dialogue will only happen when you exit. This dialogue can only be triggered after you exit the building. You learn that this person that you're talking to he's a terrorist. He's not exactly a member of Caesar's. He's not exactly a member of Nero's Legion, but he's just kind of fed up with the NCR taxing everything and just amassing all this land. So he goes to bomb the NCR. The NCR noticing that this is the last person that they talked. No, the NCR noticing the last person that this character talked to was you. You will become an aggro if you do not stop the attempted bombing on the NCR headquarters. Stopping this though will allow you to gain a ranger as a companion to travel with you to New Victoria, where you are told from the NCR that the Enclave seems to have a really strong hold on things in Mexico. You get to New Victoria and you see that there is a massive gate with Enclave soldiers outside, and they're demanding for a ticket. If you do not have a ticket, realistically, like the NCR Ranger, being that he's going to immediately be aggro to the Enclave, he insists that he'll be traveling to the native village a couple of meters south. Getting to this village, you will see, a tribe of people just living off of the land, kind of really reminiscent of Fallout 2. And you'll see a massive white just beast. Like you'll see a massive white hulking man. And we'll learn that this is Albino Ox, another companion. Small part, there's also a companion who did not want to join the NCR, so she slaughtered about 13 NCR Rangers, hoping that the Legion would kind of just engulf her in there, because she was also tired of the NCR's massive militarization, like massive military just operation expansion. But Nero's Legion captured her. So there's just going to be a bunch of companions just spread out throughout this entire world. There's also going to be Paul. I think it's Rual, from Fallout New Vegas. He is also going to be in this. He's going to be found in Necropolis, something that can only be accessed from the NCR Ranger. Once you are traveling to New Victoria, you encounter the Enclave. You can get into the gates, from either like a skill check, or you can, with Albino Ox, kind of ingratiating yourself into the shaman's village, and you'll learn that the shaman, a couple of lifetimes ago, was an Enclave, was a mercenary for New Victoria. He ran with a couple of Enclave guys once or twice, and after that, he was a con member. So a lot of rich stuff with that. You'll be able to pick up a rusty piece of Enclave armor that you're going to be needing to infiltrate the Enclave. You're going to be able to repair it with the help of a gearhead companion that's going to be inside the walls of New Victoria, Mexico. It's also going to be a massive location. The entire point of this main character was to build a new life and get to New Victoria, Mexico, right? A place built by one of those fancy geckos, and somewhere that that has been told to have streets paved with gold. With this, once you get to New Victoria, you can gauge your criminal activity, you can gamble your life away, you can get a job, right? It's like you can really do whatever you want here, and the story will move past you. If you stay in one place too long, you let multiple upon multiple days pass, the Enclave will completely evacuate its headquarters, and you'll realize that they have not only started but completed their siege. Once you get inside the Enclave headquarters, masking yourself as an Enclave soldier, you're talking to one of the main generals. A general, same thing with Nero, who can heavily impact the timing of this faction. Whether they get there 2 days late, 3 days late, whether they're there exactly the same time as the Legion, this general tells you that the mission is the final element, and it is to cleanse Texas of its 80% Raider population. With the Raiders in Texas, there are so many of them that they have decided it would be easiest to just live in kind of communal peace. There's some robberies, there's killing every now and again, but for the most part, it's not anarchy because there's simply too many of them. The main character has to decide if he wants to join the Enclave in cleansing Texas, if he wants to join the Raiders and kind of bolstering their defenses, being an independent sovereign commonwealth and fighting back against the Legion and the Enclave, or if he wants to join the Legion with Nero and purify the lands of the Wasteland. This is just a small thing I cooked up. I really do have a lot more in the tank when it comes to creative writing. I do really think that there is a lot you can do with the Fallout world and all of its pieces. I mean, there's so much here. There's so much here. I mean, even down to the choices you can make with some of the companions. You can turn some of them aggro with some of your choices. You can turn some of them into romantic dialogues. There's so many branching paths with this specific story, but Fallout as a whole, this is only possible due to the thousands and hundreds of Fallout creators out there, along with all of the fans who kind of give this environment and this universe a space to thrive. I mean, I couldn't be more grateful enough for Obsidian, for Black Isle, for Bethesda, for even allowing these thoughts and these visions to be vocalized, like to be materialized like they have been. But if you guys would be interested in anything else moving down the line, let me know. There is going to be a small piece of this I don't want to leave out. Frank Horgan is in here. Frank Horgan is there's a Frank Horgan prototype somewhere in here that I think is really, really interesting. There's a lot of cool pieces to this universe. If you guys would like to hear more from it, let me know. And also I have a New York Fallout thing I'm kind of cooking up. So let me know what you guys think about that. All right. It's me, your boy Cappy D Barra. Y'all stay tuned. Y'all stay beautiful. Peace, y'all.
La vida es la ruleta donde apostamos todos y a ti te había tocado nomás la de ganar, pero hoy tu buena suerte la espalda te ha volteado, fallaste corazón.